Welcome to The Fashion Department, a podcast that will explore the world of fashion and how it informs all aspects of life, from dress to lifestyle to food and travel. From stylists to designers to influencers to shop owners, you'll hear the latest scoop du jour. And now let me introduce you to your fabulous host, Tina Bricoli, a Greenwich, Connecticut-based wardrobe stylist and radio show personality. With over 20 years in the fashion industry, Tina will share her take on style, trends, the business of fashion, and her sartorial sense. Here's your host.
Welcome to the Fashion Department, where we are wrapping up Season 1. Here today to help me do that are two of my fabulous friends, Mr. Andy Yu and Miss Nicole Steinthal. Welcome back to the studio, guys.
Thank you, Tina.
Thank you.
Okay, so if you haven't heard the last episode, they've both been in the Fashion Department before. You have to go back and listen. And otherwise, if you haven't, so I'll tell you a little bit about Andy. Andy is a fashion designer. He moved to the U.S. in his 20s. He studied design and went on to have a successful collection at a very young age. He is absolutely magnificent. He now, fast forward some time, he's had some successes or lots of success, and now has a family, and still does some designing, I think, but has really moved on to sort of pivot and moved on to other things, also very, very creative, which we're going to get into in just a minute. But what I was so fascinated by, first of all, Andy, was you moved here from Taiwan at a young age with your family, and you studied design. But then, I didn't know this, you told me that you actually didn't finish school, but yet went on to have a very successful career. So what advice, and by the way, that's very common. I mean, what I went to school for, I don't currently do. Like studying for my degree is not what I currently do. But, it's similar. And that often happens. What you go to school for, you're kind of like, oh, that's not what I want to do. Or you just don't land there and life happens. So I think that's so common. But what is uncommon is that you seem to have such success. So what advice would you give to younger people today in college, whether they think they know what they want to do or they don't, regardless? What advice would you give once they're out of school?
Oh, thank you, Tina. Thank you for having me on the show. I think, for me, the timing, it was right for myself. And now I'm in my sort of midlife of my career. I feel like finding that one thing you're passionate about is so important. The passion could be open a coffee shop. You want to study coffee. One thing could be landscape, could be agriculture, it could be oysters, could be food, could be anything you like. But I feel like if I have two children as well, if they want to go to the Harvard, the Columbia, if the path they want to choose, they can do that. I'm happy for them. I'll support 100%. But that's not the case. Everybody are part of a community, a society. We need everybody to come on board. So I would say I'll give my advice to my children, to a lot of viewers there, is that finding that passion that moves you and that inspires you every day, because design and art really is my life 24/7. And I don't really think that's work for me. So I think that, when the time is right and you have this opportunity, I think you should just run with that.
Yeah, I agree. Good answer. Good advice. What do you think, if you could think back, I'm sure there were a lot of things that kind of came together for you as your life went on and you became successful. As most of us, it's kind of not necessarily one path. It's sometimes a combination of different things that happen, or a chain of events that happen that lead you to where you are. I mean, that's life, and it's not always planned, or it's not always what we think. But if you could think back to one thing you can point to that you can attribute to your success, what would you say it is?
I think a lot of people ask me the question. There's so many great designers out there, but for me, genuinely, I see beauty in everyone. I think the friendship, the connection is made me who I am today, and the success I have built my company 3 times from ground up, because even how I started my career in New York City, because I came up to New York City for internship. And there's a sewer, it was very nice, and she's talking to me. And I just very curious, a 19 years old boy. And she gave me her number, And next day, because what she did, I bought a bouquet flower to her. I guess that gesture sort of impressed her. I mean, there's nothing like girlfriend situation. She was like 50 years old. I was 19 years old. But I feel like, and I sense her passion and, how good person she is, and just give us a great tour to all the students. And a month later, she contacted me. She said, I have this opportunity for you. I really enjoy meeting you. Would you like to come up to New York? So that was just the starting point for that. After that, I was a designer, I had great bosses, and they made me become a junior partner, hence my own company. And I do a lot of business to private label, to the buyers, because I just genuinely like them as a friend. So whatever they go, they take me. So my career started from one customer to 20, 30 customer, building up for the span of 30 years. I would say, just be kind to people and really, to take the positive energy and also, look at your friends and just really help them, and they will help you back.
Yeah, I would agree. Stay positive, I think. And it sounds like you also stayed kind of open-minded and took risks and took a leap of faith as well. Because again, it wasn't a traditional way. I don't know so when you moved to this country, you said you were living in Virginia at first, and then you made your way to Manhattan. Sounds like very quickly. I would have too. What did you think when you first went to Manhattan? If you can remember, what was your impression?
So a lot of people don't understand. Like, I think, I grew up in Taiwan and my family was, comfortable. I would travel around the world already. So for me, the city life and technology and the food, cuisine was always there. So when I went to Richmond, Virginia, obviously my family started there. My uncle has a restaurant. We have investment there for the green card purpose. So it's just not really exciting for me, even though it's a great place. My brother still lived there with his family. We have 4 houses there. But, for me, everyone's different. I just need the excitement. I need the fashion. I need the food. I need the stimulation. So I think come to New York, it was the right place. I wasn't feel like culture shock. I think that's the place I wanted to be.
Yeah. It sounds, and then I think to be successful in the fashion industry at such a young age in Manhattan, I mean, that's big. You would have to be like it's this almost sink or swim type of situation. And it sounds like you swam.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So what do you think, how would you describe your design aesthetic?
When I started out fashion, there was 30 years ago, I was lucky enough to partner up with many high-end fabric people. I would go to PD Filati in France. I would go to PD Uno. I would go to PV. And I think back then, the high-end designer, the beautiful fabric, everything made in Italy, that's what I aspire to. And I'm a follower for Tom Ford. He transformed Gucci. So I think my design aesthetic was very minimum, black and white, used the most beautiful fabric in architectural form as much as possible. Obviously, that was 30 years ago, and the fashion has changed so much these days. There's no fast fashion. There's no Zara, either Target, Walmart, or high-end fashion. So we're talking about very different time back then. So I think my aesthetic also changed, throughout the years, and, my passion has changed. So it's not just one particular design I'm interested. I just love everything.
Okay. And so you now live in Westchester with your family, and I understand you're there not a long time, but a little bit of time. But basically, pandemic, you were there for the pandemic. So my question is, how has life changed for you post-pandemic? I know you're now involved in some very creative projects that I want to tell the listeners a little bit about.
If without COVID, I think my life and my family life would be completely different. I lived in New York City for 30 years. We still have a apartment there, and we had a house in East Hampton for 15 years. That's the world that we knew, and we're commuting back and forth and go on vacations, and I have companies still going in New York City. But obviously, when pandemic hit, everything changed, and we took a leap of faith to move to Bedford. So I would say sometimes you can control everything, but when things change in your life, you just have to go with the flow, and you can always find something positive out of the situation, even not the best.
Yeah, agree. I have always said this, it was such a tragedy and such an unfortunate time that we have gone through and kind of still going through. And I think very shocking to a lot of people, myself included, like not really sure, so much uncertainty. But after some time passed, and once I started to feel a little bit better and life started to return to normal, or the normal as we know it, I looked back and I kept saying, but this wouldn't have happened and that wouldn't have happened. There are people that I wouldn't have met. So I kept trying to find the silver lining. And I always say that. I know it's a bit of a cliche, but it's so true. Like, we could all easily sit here and be very negative about how horrible things were. I mean, people lost lives. But we could also say, well, what positive things came of it? And for me personally, a lot of positive things, and some not so positive, but some really good things happened, and they would not have happened. And like I said, I've met a few people that I'm like, I met her because I was not in a certain place because of the pandemic or the post-pandemic. So I think it's really important. I agree with you to stay positive and to really think of all the things that would not have happened. But I want to get into one of the things you are doing is your community work. You do a lot of community work. You kind of gather people. You give people a place to connect and to be inspired and creative. And one of those places is at a community center, correct?
Yes.
In Westchester County. And where there are people that have jobs there that can sew and kind of create pieces from upcycled materials. Yeah?
Yes, Tina. So when I moved to Bedford during pandemic, obviously the fashion is a whole. I want to stay creative. I mean, I would be bored to death every day, looking outside my window. So I volunteer my time at this place called the Community Center of Westchester. It's a food bank. They're feeding 3,000 families in Westchester area, but they also take clothing donation. And they also have this school called the Community Studio that teach women's an uplifting program. They're teaching how to sew, and they also use a lot of clothing donation and to make gloves and some home decoration to make money. And also give them a skill to, when they're ready to take on their business or they can get a new job. So it was a wonderful program. I've been volunteer my time there for the last 6 months. And people say, oh, you're the teacher, you're helping them. Actually, I always told people it's not the way around, that those ladies who come into the country without much of education, without any money, but the passion for the art or fashion, it's the same as you and me, even more. And they inspire me every day.
I love that. And so then the pieces, you designing the pieces, they're putting them together, sewing them, and then they sell them. So they're sold where?
Right. So I have done a variety of things to help them because I think people don't know about it. So I entered the show, which is you came over, I met you. It's in the Oho store in Bedford. It was like a pop-up thing. So I designed 15 pieces. And I told them to, based on my design, use recycled material to make for me. And 15 pieces was sold before even the show started. And thank you, Tina and Nicole here, the supporter for my show. It was just wonderful. 100% money goes to their food and their family. It was just a wonderful thing. You guys help out and made it happen for me and all these great designers.
So that's so great. You're not only connecting people, but you're inspiring people, allowing them the opportunity to be creative and to have a job. And then in turn, you're dressing your friends like Nicole and I in fabulous gear, and we're helping out. So it's like really wonderful. It's the full circle of helping and inspiring, creating. I love it.
Thank you, Tina.
All right. So I also want to talk about something else you're doing. Andy does a lot of things and a lot of things very well. So something else you're doing, you have a fashion show coming up, but not your ordinary fashion show, right? Tell us about the fashion show.
Yes. So obviously I've been to maybe 200 fashion shows in my expanded my career and done a lot of shows myself and here in Asia. And when I see my students and the community center, I feel like, even though I appreciate the design, but they need to be here. They need to be heard. Also, I want to create a stage to showcase their talent, their passion to everybody. So around 3 months ago, I was in line with the center and also with Bedford 2030. It's a sustainability organization out here. And the show is going to take place at Katona Museum, a backyard, on the June 15th. And we have 20 contestants. I set up as a project runway format because I wanted the students to feel a little bit competition, like they're going to win prize and scholarship, even though everybody ain't going to win. This is the American way, but I didn't tell them. So I wanted to work very hard for the design. And there'll be 10 students from the community center. They are just new immigrants to the family, they're learning. And the other 10 are the local middle school, high school students. And there's one boy that a little bit he's very openly talk about he's on the autistic spectrum, but he's such a great designer and he always want to be in a show or fashion, so I'm helping him. There's 2 boys, they live in the Westchester area because they love dance, love design. Sometimes they get bullied, so the parents, are very supportive and can talk to me. I say, don't worry, they can be designer, they can be whoever they want to be in my power, so they will be the contestant. And I wanted 300 people in the magazine coverage to see them, to showcase that, you can be whoever you want to be if you are passionate about something. So it's going to be a fun show and with scholarship, with music, and all-inclusive because I want to make sure that we're a model between age 8 to age 60s and all colors and ethnicity, boys and girls. And so I think it will be a fun show if we can join us.
Okay, and what is the age? So these are all students? What's the ages?
Half students age 8 to high school kids.
8, did you say?
8, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we have a brother and sister duo. She's 8 years old, and they designed a Lego dress by recycling Legos. I mean, it was fabulous.
Stop.
Fabulous.
Oh, I need to see this. All right, Nicole.
Hi.
So, NS Lifestyles, it is a daily blog. I thought it was weekly and a daily. I'm like, wow, this is a lot. You cover everything. You've got a little bit of, you've got something for everyone, and I love it. I want to talk a little bit. How and why did you start your blog?
So I started my blog. It will be, it's 8 years right now. I had gone back to school when my kids were young to Parsons, and I wanted to get a certificate in interior design. And I went through all the classes. I would go at night and I would meet my city friends after for dinner. Like I made it a thing. And I did it for a few years. And while I was doing this, they started talking about blogs and how blogging was going to be the way of the future. And that's how people were going to get their information. So they weren't going to just like open a Vogue anymore. It was going to be all online. And at that time, which is probably around like 2001, you're thinking like, how in the world could this ever,
right.
Like, no way. I mean, we have the movie, The First Monday in May, we had Anna Wintour, we had all this great stuff. And I just could not imagine it. And I had an assignment to write a blog, and it was that same thing. One of the things I had to write was like, what was my wardrobe? And then that's when I first started the Fashionable Friend Friday. So I had to do a whole thing of posts that I would do if I had my own blog. And then I just sort of put it away. And a few years later, a friend of mine was running a women's networking company out of New York, and she asked me to help her with some stuff in Westchester. And she's like, we really need to do a blog. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have a blog. So I went and like dusted that blog off. And at that time, a very good friend of mine had been doing a blog pretty regularly about Lyme's disease. Mm-hmm. So she helped me get on the platform. It was Blogger back then. And it was so easy to use. And then my friends were like, oh my gosh, you have to do this. Like there are women in Salt Lake City who are bloggers that are making so much money and you have to do it. So I got so much support from my just whole social group, and it just took off from there. And during the pandemic, I really had time to focus on Instagram and reposting people and connecting with DMs. And that's really when I noticed I went from like 20-something followers, like doubled, because people were reposting me and I was reposting them, and I was really engaged, and it was like a 24/7 thing.
And so is that how you also got into, because you do some social media marketing as well? Is that kind of how you got into that?
So now I have probably over 100 sponsors, companies that advertise on my page that I write about. And I help them with their social media. I love working with realtors. They're so cute because we try to come up with something like kitschy for them to post every week or every time they sell a house. Or if it's a women's clothing store, we kind of come up with something for them. So that's what really the social media marketing aspect.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are dying to use Instagram. It's what people are using now to shop, to get information, but they just don't know how to do it. So that's what I'm able to help them with.
Nice. And so the blog, you've got something every day and a different category, right?
Right. So I try to stick with the schedule is pretty simple. Monday, I do a book review because I'm in a book club with my very good friends, and we're always back and forth recommending books, and people are constantly asking for a book on Facebook. So it's a thing. And then Tuesday and Wednesday, I work on consumer days. So I'll do my bestsellers, or I'll review a store, something that, people are interested in that maybe has to do with something that they can get, or, dresses, or something for the home. That would be on Tuesday and Wednesday. Thursday, I like to focus on a recipe. One of my best friends is like, you are the queen of quick and easy recipes. And I totally am.
I love that.
I had 3 kids. I have 3 kids. My 2 girls are 23 months apart, and then my son is 3 years older than my eldest daughter. So I had, them pretty close, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to cook for these kids every single night.
Right.
Like, have we met? Like, I am like, oh my gosh. So I would always be like, crock pot, every single easy thing. And our school used to get out at 2:30 when they were in elementary school. Literally, I'd have their dinner by 4 o'clock. I was like, okay, dinner is over. I don't care if you have cereal later, but I was like, quick, let's get this over with. And I have to say, the Thursday is my recipe day in homage to when I had to cook so much.
Okay.
But I will have guest chefs, and I will have celebrity chefs, or a restaurant that I go to that'll share a recipe.
And you go to a lot of good restaurants.
But a lot of times I do try out a recipe before I put it on my page, which is funny because, I won't, if it doesn't work out, I won't put it on there. So my husband will see me put oh, tomorrow's going to be a bread recipe. And he's like, oh my gosh, I was so excited about the bread. I'm like, yeah, I decided not to do that.
Well, if I remember correctly, the two of you did do a little cooking thing,
We
didn't you?
did.
What did you make?
Nicole?
Well, we did it around the holidays.
That's right.
And we did a dumpling demonstration, which was so much fun. And so people went crazy for the dumplings.
So that's a perfect segue, Andy. Let's talk about the dumplings because, first of all, let me say this. I liked dumplings before, definitely. Were they my favorite thing on the menu, the first thing I would order? No, but I would order them because I know that's something I always like. Then I tried Andy's. Andy said, when I first met you, said, oh, I think you texted me and said, stop by for dumplings on Friday, pick them up. You had them ready, and I picked them up, and I think there were pork buns and dumplings. And I went home, and my husband and I steamed them. And we were like, what? These are incredible.
Oh,
and then
thank you.
after that, now you've kind of done a few little pop-up shops, right?
Yes.
That's doing the dumplings. You have
Yes.
people that help you cook them, and everything is fresh, I understand, right? All the ingredients. So is this something you grew up doing?
Again, I think fashion and food for me is very hand to hand. I just love food since I was a child, so it's my family. And moved to Bedford area, we don't have much of a choices of good Asian food.
Yeah.
So it just happened that I live right across the street from Martha Stewart and Daniel Boulou. They're they're all a very famous chef and celebrity chef, and they love food. And even though I'm quite versed of food in sense of my liking, I like Italian food, I like French food and Japanese food, but because the lack of Chinese food, Asian food out here, they all ask me to do some Chinese food for them. So I feel like if it's good for them, I can cook for anybody else. So now, I have people who make for me on a weekly basis. They're from Queens and a commercial kitchen, because it's for me that I want to have my children to eat a very nice, organic, a fresh Asian food. So, and second thing is I love to share my culture and food, and used food as a bridge to use the food to bridge the culture. So, during Chinese New Year, I order 200 dumplings. I donate to the school. I brought to the ice rink, to the ice hockey rink at Brewster. But, when people bring pizza, of course, this is rarity. Like in 5 seconds, all the dumplings were gone. People telling me how good they are and this and that. So I decided to do a pop-up 3-4 times. That, first time we sold 1,000 dumplings. The second time we did 800 dumplings. Because there's nothing out here that people really use organic ingredients and make it fresh. And thank you for Nicole and Tina, Ken, among with Martha Stewart, was all the friends who came in. Even Ralph Lauren's daughter came in with his family. And I just, happy that people come in. It's a lot of work, but in the end of the day, it's nothing to do with money. It's that if I can bring something good for the community and share my culture, I think I will continue. I'm happy to continue to do more out here.
Yeah. Well, they are delicious, and
they are good.
Look forward. So, I don't know what your plans are, but if you plan to do more pop-ups, can we find that on your Instagram?
Yes. So my team created this Instagram called Dumplings for You. YU. It sends my last name. So Instagram called Dumplings SFORYU. So if
Dumplings for You.
Yeah, if you're interested, just follow me. But for the viewers out there, listening out there, if you're Tina's listener, you're a friend of Tina, just DM me, come get a free one, whatever. It's really not for money. I just really want to share the food to all the friends out here. So, it will be something fun.
Yes. Okay. So Dumplings for You, YU. And then his Instagram handle is 49
Andrew Yu.
YU. And Nicole, just one more time, yours is NS Lifestyles. That's your handle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Andy, if you could dress one person for a red carpet event, who would it be? Dream person. You cannot say Martha because she's your neighbor.
The person has to be alive or could be dead?
Could be either or. Could be dead.
I think I have Nicole to say that first. I don't. Let me think of a second.
Okay,
you're asking me to dress somebody?
No,
okay.
well,
For the
I'll
Oscars?
say. How
you
about
go first.
How about this, Nicole?
Okay.
If you could promote or work with one celeb, who would it be?
Okay, and then my readers are going to crack up at this because it has to be Leonardo DiCaprio because we had the Leonardo watch. It was like I was in the same place as Leonardo DiCaprio 4 times and we missed each other.
No.
And people would write into me like, if anybody's going to find him, it's going to be you. Well, then COVID hit. I haven't been on the same calendar schedule clock as Leonardo.
Leo.
Has to be him.
Leo, are you peeping at Nicole's diary?
He's the best.
Okay, so you would work with him.
Yes,
All
I would
right.
love to.
Okay. Andy, who would you like to dress?
It's hard to think about it, but I think, growing up, I feel like I really like Jackie O. I feel like she is a very interesting lady and how she wear the clothes in a very classic way. And she really kind of embodiment the American, first lady and how she speak French when she go abroad and she support her husband. I think I would shake her up a little bit because she's always classic, very beautiful. I will give her a little bit some fun piece to wear and just bring different side of Jackie to the world. So I think I would do that.
Let's see Jackie in some neon and some fur.
Absolutely.
And feathers.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Feathers.
All right, so this is the fashion department.
Okay.
So we're going to talk a little fashion. So Nicole, give us 3. First of all, Nicole has impeccable style. I just want to say, I love your, it's definitely leans conservative, which I do too, but I like to say it's conservative with a flair because you always have a little piece. You do. We have a love of vintage jewelry.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we do.
And you walked in today, and by the way, I keep staring at the necklace. I'm loving the necklace. There's a gigantic heart on. It's a long chain with a huge gold heart. Is it a locket?
I don't think so.
No, it doesn't open. All right. Well, I just love it. And she's got a fabulous Chanel cuff on, I see. So give us 3 wardrobe staples. Could be for any season, doesn't matter. 3 things you think like you would write on the blog about that every woman should have in their wardrobe.
Okay. 3 things that I personally love. Okay. In my wardrobe is definitely like the perfect black pant. And I like a cut that is a crop flare.
Yes.
I feel like that's flattering for a lot of women. It elongates the leg just enough.
Shows off the shoe.
It does, the ankle, everything.
I'm with you.
I love, it looks great with like a kitten heel. I love a kitten heel. Like if I see it in a store, any designer I'm like, I gotta get that. I love a pointed flat.
Yep.
And that looks great with a pointed flat. Either it can be just a thick black pant or a black denim jean. I'm not that picky with that.
Okay.
I also want a really good silhouette black dress. Like, of course, it would be like a Valentino makes a great cut, a short sleeve, like a sheath style, or like a boat neck with longer or 3/4 sleeve, to the knee. That would be like, definitely, it's like I have one very similar go-to anytime I need it. I tease Andy, I'm like, this is my funeral dress. Like, sometimes you just have like that black dress that's like for all different things. And then I would have to say a really nice outerwear piece. It doesn't have to be like a heavy coat, but maybe something in fur or shearling.
I knew you were going to say fur.
Yeah, I know. Because I know a lot of people are anti-fur, so it could be faux fur. It doesn't have to be, or really nice. Like, I've seen a lot of designers, like Gucci and Valentino, they make beautiful capes.
Mm-hmm.
And you can also get those lower priced as well. I think like a nice cape or something just to grab. Like when you're traveling, you can bring it when you're going out in the city. Like just this great sort of outerwear, maybe a little shorter that would look good with the dress or a good look with pants.
Okay. I love it. Those are 3 really good items. Okay. Mr. Andy.
Well, a little story since we're on the live show here.
Yes.
It's before we're almost late to your show because Nicole said, "Oh, we have 20 minutes. Let's go to a vintage store nearby." So we went there.
I'm so jealous.
Nicole's like a la la land. She bought this. She bought this. So I would say if you're a friend of Nicole, be very careful. She always take me to places. Everything I put down, she said, buy.
Very rare, very rare.
So very rare, collectible. So every time I go out with her, vintage store, I spend $200, whatever the money we spend. But she's not a good friend to shopping with because she wants to buy everything. And she loves fashion. And she's like shopping queen.
Reasonably priced though. We're looking at reasonable prices.
Yeah. But we always didn't make the show because we're stuck there. We're buying things. That's how her passion. Maybe yours too. I love her vintage jewelry. But anyway, so I think for stable thing for me as a guy, I think it's different because I feel like a good blazer is always nice.
Yes.
I would say after COVID, everybody liked the comfort, the stretch fabric because technology is definitely right now. So you can buy a lot of clothes with stretch, so you don't feel like very constrained your body. So the black blazer is very good. The second thing, I feel like for American guys, the comfort is number one. So a nice a t-shirt, doesn't matter, black, V-neck, crew neck. I think a nice, crisp, clean tee is always nice to wear. You can sort of wear a black pants or jeans. And the third thing I think for guy is the younger modern generation loves sneakers. Sneakers become such a hot commodity for young kids, for like whoever. And I think a nice sneaker, kicks, or I think they'll be so fun to dress up and dress down when you wear those kind of clothes.
Perfect. I love it. Okay. All right. Well, before we end, here at the fashion department, I like to play games. Okay. Nicole, I think you did this once before with me. There's no wrong answer. I use the term game loosely. Okay. So I'm going to give you some fashion trends of 2023. And you guys, in your opinion, again, no wrong answer. You say it's a do or a don't. So it's a fashion do or it's a fashion don't. Okay. I'll point to you each as we go along. So just in your opinion, lingerie dressing. Nicole?
So you mean like lingerie as...
Yeah, as the piece.
Oh, gosh. I'm a little like...
Do or don't?
I'm a little on the fence about this. I mean, it depends on the piece. I'm really going to say.
Okay. Andy, do or don't?
Do.
Okay. Low-rise jeans. Do or don't?
How low?
Low. Like like they were in the 90s.
I think for the group that I represent on the internet, maybe a don't.
Okay. Andy?
Don't for me.
Okay. Don't for me too. Maxi skirts.
Okay. I love the idea. But unfortunately, I think it's just like a little too sister-wise for me to pull off.
Don't for you. Okay.
Don't for me.
Don't for you. Okay. It's a definite do for me. I love a good maxi. Platform shoes. I already know this answer.
Oh my gosh. I think this is definitely a do for me. I
really?
love it. Yes. I love platform shoes.
I thought you were going to say no.
I love platform. Oh my gosh. I know. But I also do have a pair of platform, very chunky loafers that I walked into my birthday lunch and my best friend was like, oh my gosh, what's happening to you? You're changing. You're wearing these lug-sole chunky loafers. And
I
I
need
was
to
like,
see these, by the way.
they're very cool.
We're going to
And
have
I'm
to
like,
plan
oh
a
my
date, and
gosh.
I want to see the biggest shoes you own.
Sometimes you just have to like go with what's out there. And I
Yeah.
think platforms, I mean, the velvet ones
Yeah.
with the crisscross front, like
Yep.
during holiday time were beautiful.
Okay. Andy,
Nothing do for me.
Okay. Kitten heels,
Of course.
of course.
It's the only do really in my life. I have to
Okay.
say, I love kitten heels.
You love a
It's
kitten
do
heel.
all the time, all
Okay.
day, all night.
okay. What do you think?
High
No.
heel for me.
Yeah, agree. I'm with Andy.
Really?
Yeah, I hate a kitten heel.
Really?
But I like them on other people.
Right.
It's just for me personally, it's a hard no.
Right.
Like
Right. If you're a heel person,
Yeah.
you don't really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, pocket squares, do or don't?
I love pocket squares.
Agreed. Andy?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. This one's a current trend. Barbie core.
Okay, what is this? People putting
Okay,
their
so-
face in Barbie look or
No,
something?
this is like head to toe pink, that like bubble gum pink. Just it's like what Barbie would wear. It's
This
pink,
is
pink,
so
pink.
funny because I was just invited to a good friend's birthday.
Oh, no.
And we have to wear pink.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it had to be Barbie core. So you just
Well,
have to
I
wear,
think that's Barbie core, right?
Well, is
Isn't
it any
that
shade of pink or is it Barbie
It's
core?
just said any shade of pink.
Oh, well, that's not bad. You could do soft pink. You could do. I mean, there's such a
Yeah.
range. You could do. Okay, so
I don't
but
know.
that bubblegum pink, head to toe.
Maybe a don't for me.
Okay, Andy.
In everyday life, I would know, but if it's a sing party, I would
I have
say
to
yes.
see it. I have to see it,
Okay,
but
okay.
I don't know.
Super baggy jeans.
Don't.
Don't for
Andy?
me.
Don't for me too. Suspenders.
For men or women.
Doesn't matter.
I definitely think this is don't for me.
Okay, Andy.
It's hard to wear. Don't for me.
Oh, okay. Cargo pants. Very trendy right now.
I'm on the fence.
I think you're going to say don't.
Yeah, it's not really my favorite look.
Okay.
For-
Andy, cargo pants.
I think for men, yes.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. Crocs.
My kids love Crocs.
I love Nancy's reaction, by the way.
My kids love Crocs. I mean, I
Uh-huh.
personally think they're
Plastic?
no, I just think if you wear them right, but I have
Okay.
to say, isn't like Gucci and all of those companies now doing really cool rubber thick?
Yeah.
Sandals?
Bottega
So,
has the rubbery
yeah,
boots. It's
so
not a Croc, but it's
I have to see how people wear them and
okay. The traditional way. Andy,
Yeah.
Crocs.
Oh, absolutely not.
Absolutely, I'm with you. I shudder when I
Yeah,
think of it.
ugly,
I'm
ugly
with
thing, yes.
Andy. Absolutely.
Ugly.
Okay. Ballet flats.
oh, totally.
Totally
That's
do.
me too.
Andy. That's a no.
I can tell.
No.
I know exactly
Same,
that face.
No.
Same. Agreed. Okay. 80s jewelry. Chunky 80s jewelry.
No.
Really? Okay. Andy.
Yes for me.
Yeah. Yes for me. And head to toe neon. Head to toe. Do or don't?
No.
No. Andy.
No.
Really? I thought Andy was going to say yes. It's a no for me too. That's all the time we have, guys. Thank you, Andy and Nicole, for
Thank you
joining
so
me
much.
here in the fashion department.
Thank you, Tina, having us.
And you'll have to come back again for season 3 and we'll chat more.
Yeah.
Cannot wait.
Yes. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.
Chat soon. Thanks for joining me in the fashion department. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. For more inspiration and fashion content, check out my website and follow along on Instagram at Tina_the_fashion_stylist. And a special thanks to the Factory Underground Studio for recording and producing this show. See you next time.